Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Nike Zoom GT cut. And this shoe is going for $170 freaking dollars, which is super freaking expensive. But if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. And let's get it started off with the tracciones, right? So this shoe I played only indoors. I did not play outdoors, and I'm sorry about that, but the indoor gyms are open and I've been playing on an indoor gym. I was so happy when I first did. I'm pretty sick of playing outdoors, I'm sorry guys, and my feet and my legs were thanking me a lot once I started going into an indoor court, right? But anyways, right, so I played on, the clean surface, very clean, like that new gym that I'm going to, and also played on a dusty surface as well, right? So on a dusty setting, it did pick up a little bit of dust, which kind of sucks, but if you frequently wipe, once you wipe, you have a few good stops and you're good to go again. But it did pick up dust, like there are some shoes like the KD13 and the KD14 where it was pretty immune to dust. Like you just still bite even on a dusty, dirty floor, but this seemed to pick up a little bit of dust, which kind of sucks. And I feel like that has to do with the pattern being like very close together. If it was a little bit more spread out, I don't think it would trap as much dirt and as much dust, but it is what it is. But playing on a clean court, like that clean surface where they keep it super clean, they clean it pretty much every single day, I had no issues, right? The stop was amazing. There's a nice loud squeak as well, which I really like. So yeah, very good bite on a clean court, like I would say top tier. Dust, it picks up a good amount of dust, but if you keep wiping, you'll be fine. As far as the durability goes, I'm not 100% sure. I'm like I said, I didn't really play on outdoor court, so I'm sorry about that. But it's like, I would say it's pretty damn good. You see, like here in the highway area, you have a lot of like rubber. You have a lot more like grooves where the highway area is, which is a good thing. And then the rubber seems like decently hard. So the durability, I would say, would be pretty damn good. So as far as the traction goes, I enjoyed it, and it was pretty damn nice. All right, moving on to the heel to toe transition. That's kind of like my least favorite part about the shoe, or like my least favorite thing about the shoe, right? So here in the heel, we have this crazy curved shape, which I really like, right? So you have this rounded shape, which definitely helps the heel to toe transition here in the heel. And then, of course, we have a very nice curved shape here in the forefoot, and we have a lot of forefoot flex, which is super nice, right? But we have a good amount of caging. Like all of you guys probably know, this is a drop-in midsole, right? And there's really no exposed midsole. I mean, there kind of is with this like foam here on the lateral side, but we have this cage, right? And this is red part, it's caged, so it feels pretty clunky. Like when you put your heel to the ground, it kind of feels clunky. But like I said, this kind of like rounded shape definitely does help it. So it kind of reminds me of like the Kobe 9 a little bit, and probably not as boot-like as the Kobe 9, especially here in the heel, but that did kind of annoy me, when I was running it on the court, and I felt it clunky a little bit. But of course, I feel like a lot of people don't really care about that, so that's fine if you don't care. But to me, I like to have like a little bit of compression from the midsole, which it felt a little clunky here in the heel. So there's the heel to toe transition. But overall, I mean, once you come from the heel all the way here into the forefoot, it feels pretty damn smooth. So it's not horrible, but I wish they didn't cage it here as much as far as this like red part goes, All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup is my favorite part about the shoe, right? So we have a drop-in full length React midsole, which is awesome. I mean, like it's really thin, so you don't get like crazy compression, which is a good thing because I feel like they made it a little bit thicker. The court feel wouldn't be as good, obviously, and it'd be a little like too soft probably, right? So I feel like they did a good job in making it like super low to the ground with like a little bit of compression right underneath your foot. So you can feel the React, it feels comfortable, and then you can feel the full length Zoom strobel unit right underneath that, and it feels awesome, and it feels extremely bouncy. Step-in comfort is actually really good as well, and you're super low to the ground. I'm very surprised at how low to the ground you feel in this shoe, but you feel extremely low to the ground, even though there is that zoom unit, right? Also, there is a bottom-loaded zoom unit here in the heel, but I didn't really feel anything like more significant here in the heel. It didn't feel more bouncy or anything because of that. I just felt like it was just still super bouncy. So yeah, I mean, it's extremely bouncy. You get good impact protection, you get really good court feel, it's still responsive feeling, and then you get that nice step in comfort from the React, right? So you get a little bit of compression. And also another really nice plus, which it kind of ties into lockdown, but I guess I'll mention it here in the cushion, is the as you guys can see on top of this drop-in React midsole, not only is kind of like the texture of React like really sticky, but you can see like that React pattern here in the forefoot, and that really grips your sock, and that kind of like helps keep your foot in place like inside the shoe as well, which feels really, really nice. So the cushioning setup I absolutely love, and it feels very similar to like the Kobe 11 drop-in with the full-length zoom unit, you know, when the Nike ID was available. So yeah, this is a great cushioning setup. All right, moving on to the materials. So here in the forefoot, we have like this like kind of like a canvasy type of material, but it seems to have a little bit of foam to it. And then coming up here into the midfoot area, it's kind of like a very, very airy Flyknit material. Like it has a lot of ventilation holes, so that feels nice, you know. Here in the forefoot, it feels comfortable, it feels very thin, very minimal. I mean, they did add a little bit of foam here, so it doesn't feel as minimal as like some other materials, but it's still pretty minimal. And then for the tongue, I would say there's just a tiny bit of padding. I would say it feels very similar to the material here in the forefoot. So overall, it feels more like minimal. And then here in the ankle area, we have a little bit of foam, which makes the shoe feel a little bit more cozy. But overall, this material feels very minimal and very comfortable and conforms to your foot very well. So they did a good job with quality and also performance for this material. All right, moving on to the fit of the shoe, I went true to size and fits me actually very, very well, right? So as far as the length goes, my toe pretty much goes like right to the edge of the shoe, but there's just a tiny bit of space, like 2 millimeters, I would say. So it's not like right at the edge, but it's pretty much right at the edge, right? So if you don't like a very, very snug fit lengthwise, I would suggest going up half a size, but for me, true to size was good. Here in the toe box, it is quite snug as well. And so that feels nice. I like to have a very snug fit here in the toe box, which is a good thing for me. But if you don't like that, again, I would suggest going up half a size. As far as the width goes, the width is slightly narrow. I can feel kind of like this plastic part squeezing the side of my foot just a tiny bit. It's nothing like where it's very, very uncomfortable. I just felt it squeezing a little bit, so I would say the width is slightly narrow. But for me, the shoe fit me very, very well. You know, I like to have a very snug fit here in my ball shoes. So this shoe pretty much fit my foot like a glove. It's kind of annoying. I mean, when you put on the shoe, like I said, this React grips your sock like crazy. So when you put it on, it kind of like scrunches your sock a little bit on the bottom of your foot. So you kind of like have to keep like messing with it to fix it. But other than that, I mean, that's not a huge deal, but it's kind of annoying, right? So there's the fit there. As far as the support and lockdown goes, there's absolutely zero issues, right? So for lateral containment, we have, first of all, the drop-in midsole has like a sidewall, and it kind of comes up, so you have a lateral counter for lateral movements. And then here on the outside of the shoe, we have this plastic part here in the forefoot, and here in the heel, we have this crazy like foam coming up. And then here in the midfoot, we have this swoosh coming up as well. And the swoosh is also, it's kind of like a plastic material, but it's a little bit like a thicker plastic material. So that also adds support to the shoe. So for lateral containment, I had zero issues. And I feel like even if you're a bigger dude and you do a lot of shifty lateral like movements, you should be fine. I don't think you're gonna have any issues. And then for lateral stability, I had no issues either. You know, as you guys can see, there is a little bit of an outrigger, but it does protrude out, you know, like this plastic part here on the lateral side in the forefoot. So I had zero issues with lateral instability. So support and lockdown was very, very good for me. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. Let's see. It's 13.23 ounces, which is a little disappointing. It's not heavy by any means, but it's like heavier than you would expect, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, this is a drop-in midsole, the Kobe 8, and if you weigh this is like 8 ounces. 8.4 ounces, which is extremely light. So that's what I was expecting from the GT cut. You know, I thought it was gonna be like 10, 11 ounces. But then, you know, when you feel it, you're like, oh, that's a little heavy, you know? So 13 ounces is a little bit heavier, but that's okay. This shoe feels extremely responsive, right? So you feel like the material is pretty minimal. So it's a very minimal feeling shoe, and it's a very responsive feeling shoe, right? So the traction is really good here, so you have no issues with slipping out or anything. And then the cushion is pretty damn responsive. You feel bouncy and all that. It doesn't feel slow or anything, or in my opinion, it doesn't anyway. So yeah, you feel really like fast and very quick and very responsive when you're playing in the shoe, but it's just like not the lightest feeling shoe that you can get, which is, you know, it's not a huge deal for me. It's only like an ounce heavier than average, or like 0.8 ounces heavier than average, which isn't a huge deal. But I just wish they would have gotten rid of like all of this, you know, like look at this, like why this? Why do you have this plastic? Why? And then why do you have all of this rubber coming up to cage this? And like all of this plastic, I feel like is unnecessary, because you can literally, you know, have the drop-in midsole come up and act like a sidewall. So you don't really need all of this, but I feel like, you know, if you want like extra support, then this shoe has it, you know. Moving on to the ventilation was pretty good, you know. Like I mentioned, the material is extremely thin, especially here on the sides of the shoe in the midfoot area. And also we have like these 4 like oval ventilation holes here in the toe box. So I guess that's good, but for the most part, ventilation seemed good, and my foot didn't get like super hot while I was playing in it. And as far as the aesthetics go, it looks pretty dope, you know. It looks like a kind of like a soccer shoe. It doesn't really look like a basketball shoe all too much, but overall I like how it looks, and I like the overall silhouette. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the GT Cut is a great performer, right? So this shoe was made for guards, like someone that needs ultra responsiveness, someone that needs a very good low to the ground feel. There's just like 1 or like 2 things that I feel like could have been changed, just in my opinion, to make the shoe a little bit better, right? So first off is the clunk here in the heel. I wish they would have kept it like the Kobe 8. You know, the Kobe 8, like look at that. It's just a pretty exposed foam, so it doesn't feel really like clunky at all in the heel, right? So I don't know why they did all of this with this red cage, like this red plastic thing, and then like the rubber, but you know, not a huge deal, right? That's okay. So there was that, and then also the weight. You know, I feel like they did a little too much as far as like all this plastic goes, but again, that's just a little minor thing, you know. Overall, this shoe is awesome. The cushion is really good, bouncy, and if you like zoom, this shoe has a lot of zoom, you know. Traction is phenomenal. Materials are really good and very minimal, you know. Support is there. It's a great looking shoe, and I feel like most people will enjoy playing in this shoe. If you're a guard and you want a very quick and also a very responsive shoe, great option. If you're a bigger dude or a shooting guard or whatever, this is also a good option. You know, you get good support, good traction, you know. So I feel like most people will enjoy playing in this shoe, and for me, I definitely enjoyed playing in this. This is a top tier performer, but also it has top tier pricing, so that kind of sucks, but I guess Nike's giving us their best tech, and you can't really complain about that, right? So yeah, this is a really nice basketball shoe. And if you guys do want to cop, again, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.